I can't tell you shit about Cardi. Cardi can tell you about Cardi, because I'm not going to spill her beans. But just know you're going to be proud of that lady.
No one is talking about it the way it deserves. But tonight we're pulling back the curtain on the latest Cardi B drama that's sweeping through social media. Cardi, never one to bite her tongue, popped out once again. This time not with music, not with a fashion moment, but with something entirely different. Adult advice. Yes, you heard that right. Cardi B, in full anti-mode, decided to school her audience on dating dirty men, irresponsible men, and why settling for less could be the biggest mistake of your life. And trust me when I say, you're going to want to wait and watch Cardi's advice for yourself, because the way she put it was raw, unfiltered, and unforgettable.
Yo, it's your girl Cardi B, and I'm doing this video so y'all can keep y'all pussy on WAP. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you bitches got the dab dry ass pussy because y'all pH balance is off. And you wanna know why? It's not because you born with it. It's because y'all keep fucking these dirty ass niggas. And y'all bitches is shy to tell these niggas that they dick is hot. You gotta tell babe, yo, your dick smell like mustard, my nigga. You wanna throw my pH balance off. Y'all bitches be fucking these little dirty ass niggas. Y'all be sucking they dick and shit. And y'all be gagging on it. Y'all think y'all gagging on it because the dick is big. But no, bitch, it's because it stink. Another thing is, right, why your pH balance is throwing off, because y'all bitches need to fucking brush your teeth before you suck dick. Y'all eating barbecue ribs the whole day, bacon, egg, and cheese. Then you suck your nigga dick, and right after, he directly put it inside your pussy. Now you got bacon, egg, and cheese grease inside your pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'm only giving y'all this advice because I love you. If you don't want to take advice, alright then, bitch. Roll the dice and keep walking around with that dehydrated pussy. Like I said, I love y'all, and this is for y'all to keep the WAP.
But that wasn't all. Just when fans thought this was about Cardi turning into the big sister of the internet, Kehlani slid into the picture. The singer, who has had a tight-knit but sometimes complicated friendship with Cardi, went live on Instagram and dropped a mysterious line. She said, "We're all going to be proud of Cardi B." But here's where it gets messy. Kehlani also admitted she couldn't say much, because Cardi had already warned her not to spill any tea. Yes, you heard me right. Cardi told Kehlani, "Don't spill my tea, I'll spill it myself." And the way Kehlani looked nervous, dodging questions in her live, had fans replaying the clip over and over. Wait until you see Kehlani literally running away from Cardi's shadow in that moment. We'll show you that clip in just a minute.
I can't tell you shit about Cardi. Cardi can tell you about Cardi, because I'm not going to spill her beans. But just know you're going to be proud of that lady. So proud. I'm super proud of that lady.
Now let's dive into Cardi's viral advice session. Picture this. Cardi sitting in her glam, lashes on point, nails tapping against her phone screen, addressing her fans with that Bronx accent that makes every word sound like a mix of wisdom and warning. She said, "Ladies, stop dating dirty men. Stop dating men who don't even got soap in their bathroom. If you walk in and see they living like raccoons, leave." Fans erupted in laughter, but behind the humor was a sharp edge. Cardi wasn't just joking. She was telling her followers not to tolerate disrespect, laziness, or irresponsibility. Social media blew up instantly. On Twitter, fans were quoting her line for line, turning her words into viral memes. TikTok users began making skits about spotting dirty men and reenacting Cardi's voice. But others pointed out that Cardi seemed to be talking from personal experience, raising eyebrows about whether this advice was just general, or maybe, just maybe, aimed at someone from her own past. And that brings us back to Kehlani. Because in her live, when fans kept pressing her about Cardi, she dodged like a pro. "I can't say anything, y'all. Cardi already told me. She said nobody better spill her tea but her." She even gave a nervous laugh, as if remembering Cardi's warning in real time. The way she glanced off camera, bit her lip, and tried to move the conversation along, it only fueled speculation that there's a storm brewing, and Kehlani doesn't want to be the one caught in it. Fans in the chat spammed, "What do you know?" and "What's Cardi hiding?" But Kehlani stood firm, almost running away from every question thrown at her. The tension here is electric. On one hand, you have Cardi making herself look like the truth teller, the advisor, the protector of women against dirty and irresponsible men. On the other, you have her close friend Kehlani clearly holding back something Cardi doesn't want the world to know just yet. And that begs the question, what tea could possibly be so big, so explosive, that Cardi B herself wants to control the rollout? As we move deeper into this story, we'll unpack the audience reactions, the fan theories, and the bigger picture. Because let's be real, Cardi B doesn't move without a reason. If she's warning people not to spill her tea, it means something is cooking, and it's only a matter of time before it's served to the world. Cardi B's advice might have sounded funny on the surface, but the internet was quick to connect the dots. Fans weren't just laughing, they were dissecting every line, wondering if Cardi was low-key shading someone from her own history. And you already know who people pointed to first: Offset. Social media detectives wasted no time clipping Cardi's line about dirty men with no soap in their bathroom and attaching old rumors about Offset's alleged lifestyle when he first started out. Now, to be fair, Cardi never said any names. But when you've got millions of fans who know your every lyric, every Instagram post, and every fight you've had online, trust me, they're going to draw conclusions. One Twitter user wrote, "Cardi's not just talking to the girls, she's talking about her own mistakes. This is therapy disguised as advice." Another chimed in, "She's basically telling the world how Offset used to be before the fame, and I believe it." Comments like these snowballed, and soon Cardi's IG advice session was being replayed with captions like, "Cardi exposing her own past." Whether intentional or not, it had everyone whispering about whether Cardi was using her platform to heal or to shade. But here's where things get even messier. Fans weren't just discussing Cardi's advice, they were analyzing her tone. Usually, when Cardi jokes, she's animated, laughing and dragging out her words for effect. But in this clip, her voice had a sharper edge, almost like a warning. She looked dead into the camera and said, "Stop dating irresponsible men." Viewers swore she wasn't just being funny. She was being serious, like she wanted this message to hit home. And when Cardi's tone shifts like that, you know she's speaking from experience. Meanwhile, Kehlani's cryptic Instagram live comments began to resurface again and again. Fans clipped the moment where Kehlani nervously said, "We're all gonna be proud of Cardi soon," and replayed it with captions like, "What does she mean?" Some speculated that Cardi's new album rollout might be tied to this adult advice era, and Kehlani's slip-up was pointing to something big. Others thought Kehlani knew about personal drama that Cardi was planning to reveal, maybe even in her music. One fan wrote, "If Cardi is warning Kehlani not to spill tea, that means there is tea. She's just saving it for when it benefits her most." And that brings us to the bigger conversation. Cardi's strategy. Cardi isn't just a rapper. She's a master of controlling her narrative. Every viral clip, every IG rant, every sudden live video feels chaotic at first, but then weeks later it ties perfectly into her bigger story. That's why fans are convinced this advice session isn't just advice. It's part of a calculated rollout. Cardi knows how to get people talking, and this time she's mixing humor, truth, and mystery to keep everyone hooked. But let's not forget, not everyone bought into Cardi's moment of wisdom. Some critics came out swinging, accusing her of being hypocritical. One viral comment said, "Cardi telling girls not to date irresponsible men while defending one for years is wild." Another fan responded with, "She's not wrong, but why now? Why only after everything?" The debate started trending on TikTok, with creators stitching her video and asking whether Cardi should be giving relationship advice at all. This clash of opinions only fueled more discussion. Was Cardi empowering young women to avoid her mistakes, or was she just repackaging her drama as life lessons? The split in reactions made the story even juicier. Some saw her as the big sister they never had. Others saw her as the messy cousin who warns you about fire while holding a match in her own hand. And the wildest part? Cardi hasn't addressed any of the speculation. She dropped her advice, laughed a little, and logged off, leaving fans to argue, analyze, and speculate on their own. That silence from Cardi only added to the mystery. If there's one thing Cardi knows, it's that silence after a storm always builds anticipation for the next move. Meanwhile, the internet is already making memes about Kehlani's runaway moment. TikToks are calling it the Great Kehlani Dodge, showing clips of her looking off screen as fans asked about Cardi, layered with funny captions like, "When you know the tea, but Cardi said don't say a word." Kehlani hasn't commented further, but the fact that fans are laughing and calling her nervous proves that people think there's something real behind her hesitation. So now we're left with this: Cardi giving advice that feels like a personal confession, fans speculating about Offset and her past, Kehlani dodging questions like she's avoiding lasers, and the looming promise that something big is on the horizon. But here's the kicker: Cardi herself said she'll spill the tea when she's ready. So, the real question is, what's she holding back? If you've followed Cardi B long enough, you already know. Nothing she does is ever random. What looks like chaos today often ends up being a carefully placed puzzle piece tomorrow. And that's exactly why fans are convinced this dating advice moment is not just Cardi venting. It's all tied to her album, Am I the Drama? Think about it. The album title itself is basically a question for the world. Am I the drama? Is a phrase dripping with sarcasm, irony, and self-awareness. Cardi knows she's been the center of controversy for years, whether it's feuds, relationship issues, or industry shade. And now, instead of running from it, she's leaning in, flipping her reputation into art. So when she's on IG telling fans don't date dirty men, fans are starting to realize this isn't just random Cardi energy, it's marketing. She's giving us hints of the themes her album will touch on: relationships, mistakes, survival, and turning the ugly truth into entertainment. Insiders are already whispering that some of Cardi's most personal tracks will address her past openly, not in a sad or apologetic way, but in her signature raw and funny style. That's why these IG clips feel so important. They're not just advice, they're previews of the Cardi we're about to hear on record. She's building anticipation by blurring the line between her personal life and her professional one. Fans don't know if they're watching a random rant, an album rollout, or both. And that confusion? It's what keeps her trending. Now, remember Kehlani's words. We're all gonna be proud of Cardi soon. That one statement sent fans into overdrive. Proud of her for what? Dropping a new album? Surviving heartbreak? Exposing hidden truths? The fact that Kehlani refused to elaborate, even when pressed by fans, only made it more suspicious. And let's not forget Cardi allegedly warning Kehlani not to spill anything. Why? Because Cardi wants the reveal on her terms. Every piece of gossip, every rumor, every IG clip will funnel back to her album when it drops. That's not just clever, that's genius-level rollout strategy. Fans online are already connecting Cardi's rollout to what Nicki Minaj, Beyoncé, and Megan Thee Stallion have done in the past, but with Cardi's own twist. She doesn't just announce things formally. She makes it messy, she makes it dramatic, and she makes you feel like you're in the middle of her real life. For example, that viral advice about dirty men? It sparked debates, think pieces, and memes all at once. But it also positioned Cardi as someone who has lived through what she raps about, and that authenticity is her secret weapon. But let's be clear, not everyone is impressed. Some critics say Cardi is too dependent on drama to sell her projects. They argue that instead of letting the music speak for itself, she constantly ties her albums to her personal life and messy internet moments. One comment that blew up read, "We don't want Cardi's IG drama. We want Cardi's music. Period." Another countered with, "Her IG drama is the music. That's why she's relatable." And that right there is the split that makes Cardi so polarizing. Still, whether you love her or hate her, you can't ignore her. Cardi understands virality better than most artists in the game. She knows how to turn a simple IG live rant into a headline, and a headline into a talking point that leads right back to her name and her album. It's like she's playing chess while the rest of the industry is playing checkers. And here's another thing. Cardi isn't afraid to troll her own fans. That's part of her charm. She'll say outrageous things, laugh about it, then drop something serious 2 weeks later that makes you rethink everything. Remember when she said she doesn't mind if people laugh at her because she's laughing to the bank? Well, this is that strategy in real time. Fans may laugh at her advice, critics may call it messy, but when the album drops, all those viral clips will suddenly make sense. Meanwhile, Industry insiders are speculating that Cardi's album rollout will include more fan-first moments, similar to her advice video. She might show up in random places, pop into Instagram lives, or even have her kids make appearances in her content. Why? Because Cardi knows that the more unpredictable she is, the harder it is for the public to look away. And that unpredictability is exactly what has the internet hooked. Kehlani's nervous energy, Cardi's blunt advice, and the silence that follows. It's all adding up to one thing. Cardi is building tension. And when tension builds in her world, you already know, the release is going to be explosive. The moment Cardi B started giving relationship advice on IG, the internet did what it always does, split right down the middle. Some fans cheered her on, saying she's speaking the raw truth nobody else will. Others rolled their eyes, calling it yet another case of Cardi turning her personal drama into a PR stunt. But here's where it gets interesting. People aren't just debating her advice. They're comparing it to other female artists' rollouts and questioning whether Cardi is rewriting the rulebook or repeating an old formula. On one side, fans are defending Cardi fiercely. They say her openness is what makes her so relatable. Cardi doesn't pretend to be perfect. She'll clown herself, clown her man, and clown us too. And that's why we love her. One viral tweet read. Another fan wrote, "Other artists need a 10-step PR plan. Cardi just turns on IG Live and boom, she's trending." And it's true. Cardi thrives in the chaos. She doesn't hide from the drama. She makes it work for her. But then there are the critics, and they're not holding back. Some argue that Cardi is recycling the same shock value tactics every time she has an album coming. They point to her feuds, her rants, and now even her advice, claiming it's all part of one messy cycle. One comment that gained traction said, "This ain't advice, this is rollout theater. She does this every time." Another said, "We get it, Cardi. You're loud, you're funny, but where's the music?" That criticism stings because it suggests fans are hungry for substance beyond the chaos. And that's where Kehlani's role comes back into play. By refusing to spill Cardi's tea even when fans were desperate for details, Kehlani basically confirmed that Cardi is in control of her narrative. She's not letting anyone else take her shine or break her rollout timeline. This is classic Cardi. She doesn't just want your attention. She wants to control the moment you get the truth. And Kehlani, whether intentionally or not, played right into her hand. It's not the first time we've seen this dynamic in the industry. Think about Nicki Minaj's rollout strategies: dramatic, confrontational, dripping with mystery. Or Beyoncé's: silent, calculated, and then explosive. Cardi, however, falls somewhere in between. She doesn't stay quiet, but she also doesn't give you everything at once. Instead, she builds tension with humor, chaos, and unpredictability. And that blend is why the public can't look away. Here's the twist, though. The more Cardi blurs the line between her personal life and her professional life, the more dangerous it becomes. Some fans worry she's setting herself up for burnout. One TikTok comment put it best. At some point, Cardi won't be able to outdrama herself. Then what? That question lingers heavy, because Cardi's entire brand has been built on being bigger, louder, and messier than the rest. Can she keep it up forever? Or will there come a moment when fans demand something else? Meanwhile, the comparisons to other female rappers are heating up. Some fans are pointing out how Cardi's rollout feels different from Megan Thee Stallion's Traumazine, which leaned heavily on vulnerability and pain. Others argue that Cardi's closer to Doja Cat, who mixes controversy with trolling in a way that makes fans unsure if she's serious or not. The fact that people are even debating these comparisons shows how central Cardi has become to the conversation. She's not just another rapper. She's a cultural figure who people can't stop measuring others against. And yet, through all the noise, one thing is clear. Cardi knows exactly what she's doing. She may not have a polished, picture-perfect strategy, but she doesn't need one. Her rollout thrives on authenticity. Messy, funny, unpredictable authenticity. Whether you think she's being genuine or calculated, the end result is the same. She has the world's attention. But let's not forget, this isn't just about music. This is about Cardi shaping her image for the long game. With every viral moment, every chaotic IG live, she's building a legacy of being the unfiltered voice of the people. Love her or hate her, Cardi is creating a lane nobody else can occupy. And that's why, no matter what critics say, her strategy works. So here's the real question. Is Cardi giving us advice as a genuine moment? Or is it all part of the chessboard she's setting up for her album launch? Maybe it's both. And maybe that's why she's so hard to pin down. No one is talking about it, but we need to. Cardi B is reshaping the very idea of what it means to be a star in 2025. Forget the old-school rules of polished interviews and carefully scripted PR moments. Cardi has built an empire on chaos, humor, rawness, and transparency. And whether you think she's reckless or brilliant, one thing is clear. It works. Her advice about avoiding dirty men and refusing to tolerate irresponsible men wasn't just another viral soundbite. It was a glimpse into how she sees herself, not just as an entertainer, but as a cultural voice. Cardi isn't speaking like a rapper anymore. She's speaking like a mentor, a big sister, a woman who has been through the fire and now wants to pass on her survival tactics. And that shift, that's bigger than music. But at the same time, we can't ignore the gamesmanship. Cardi knows timing better than anyone in the industry. She knows when to go live, when to speak up, when to troll, and when to disappear. Every move, even when it looks spontaneous, feels like part of a bigger picture. The tea that Kehlani refused to spill? That wasn't an accident. That was Cardi telling the world, I control my story. And in an industry that eats women alive when they're vulnerable, that kind of control is revolutionary. Still, the question lingers. How long can this strategy last? Fans adore Cardi's rawness now, but will they grow tired of the chaos? Will her advice moments become repetitive, or will they continue to shock us? And most importantly, can she keep topping herself every time she steps into the spotlight? Because here's the truth. Cardi has reached a point where the expectations are sky high. Every time she opens her mouth, fans expect a headline. Every time she goes live, blogs wait to dissect every second. Every post, every quote, every facial expression can explode into a trend. That kind of pressure is dangerous, and not every artist survives it. But Cardi? She thrives on it. She feeds off it. And maybe, just maybe, she needs it to stay at the top. And let's not forget Kehlani's role in all of this. By refusing to reveal Cardi's secrets, Kehlani not only avoided drama, but also solidified Cardi's narrative power. She showed the industry that Cardi is not someone you can easily expose or exploit. Cardi is always one step ahead, and that in itself makes her unstoppable. Fans are already predicting what's next. Some believe a new album is on the way, with the advice moment being the start of the rollout. Others think Cardi is angling for something bigger, maybe a documentary, maybe even a book. After all, who better than Cardi to write about relationships, survival, and chaos? Her story would sell itself. So what does this all mean for her legacy? If Cardi continues to balance chaos with authenticity, humor with wisdom, and drama with control, she could very well go down as one of the most influential figures of her generation. Not just as a rapper, but as a cultural icon who rewrote the rules of celebrity in real time. And here's the part that should make everyone pause. Cardi isn't done yet. Every time we think we've seen the wildest version of her, she surprises us again. Every time we think the tea is cold, she boils a fresh pot. And every time the industry tries to put her in a box, she breaks out, louder and bolder than ever before. So buckle up, because if this was just advice, imagine what happens when Cardi decides to finally spill her own tea on her own terms. The world may not be ready for it, but Cardi, she's been ready.